Voluptuous TV. And this is Miss Chess coming to you on Voluptuous TV. Today I have a phenomenal woman sitting next to me, right from Kinloch, Missouri, American film and television actress and singer, Miss Jenifer Lewis.
All of that.
Yes,
Am
ma'am.
I all of that? Well,
yes,
that's
indeed.
exciting. I'm glad. How are you?
I'm great.
Voluptuous indeed. I don't have mine out. I don't have to show mine anymore because I'm almost married, but that's quite the scene. I think it's fabulous.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I like to first say happy belated birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
It was at
Turned
the
55. Now,
ending
y'all
of
know I don't look
January.
no 55. January
You don't.
25th, month after Jesus. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Whew, that's funny.
How does it feel to be back in St. Louis?
Wow. First of all, I'm down at the Four Seasons, and I have a view of the Arch and the mighty Mississippi. That's home. You know, that's everything. The Arch and the Mississippi and the zoo and the botanical gardens and my college.
Webster University.
Webster University and Kinloch, of course. And it's just all of that coming home to my friends and families. It's wonderful.
With you being from Kinloch, Missouri, you're the youngest of 7 children.
Yes.
You have very earnest working parents, a mother who was a nurse's aide,
Yes.
father who was a manual laborer.
Absolutely.
What was your defining moment in terms of going into acting?
My defining moment was when I sang my first solo in church, First Baptist Church, Kinloch. I was 5 years old, and the congregation, when I finished, the congregation they stood up. Some people were crying, for a 5-year-old to sound like that and have that big belt voice. I'd never seen anything like it. So I stood there and I knew that was okay, this is life. This is how it feels. And so I stood there and said, I know what I want to do. And, I've tried to honor the gift all my life. And the acting just sort of came from watching television and loving actresses like Dorothy Dandridge and Betty Davis, Joan Crawford, and Hattie McDaniel. So it just went in me, and it was a gift at birth, and I've just tried to honor it all my life. I love what I do.
And you own what you do. Yes, indeed, you do. You have such a diverse filmography. Mm-hmm. You have been in every movie, every television series, to include over 60 films, over 200 television appearances. Can we talk about the politics of Hollywood relative to black actresses?
I don't get into that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I've been so successful. I've never really seen color. I just, it's there, but I don't wake up looking for it. Oh, I'm not going to get the role because she's white or Asian or, Puerto Rican. I go in, I do my best, I leave the rest. And I go on to the next moment because that's just how I roll. I love life. Show business is not my whole life. I'm in love with a very sexy man, a very nice man.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jenifer Lewis is in love.
Absolutely. He's a retired First Sergeant Marine. And it takes a Marine to handle me, I assure you. But I love what I do. And 259 television shows to be exact. 60 films. Broadway, 4 Broadway shows. Toured the world. It's been a wonderful life, but I assure you, it wasn't easy. I've always told myself that the elevator to success is broken. You have to take the stairs. And then you would have earned it. So you get the feeling of accomplishment. And I'm not going to lie, I've worked it out. I went to, I was a leader in high school. Kinloch High. I was captain of the cheerleading squad, president of my class. I was a born leader. And then I went off and got my BA in theater arts at Webster University here in St. Louis. Went straight to New York, and in less than 2 weeks, I got my first Broadway show. Now, that's kind of unheard of. But that's the kind of, I was fearless at the time. I was young, I had the energy, and I was determined.
Now, one thing that I found very interesting about your career is that you were a backup singer for Bette Midler.
Yeah, I toured the country with Bette Midler. I was a harlot. I had a great time with Bette Midler and learned a lot from her. One of the special things I learned with Bette Midler was how to sing a ballad. She was so focused and she was so professional and right spot on singing a ballad. She really told the story, and she held 10,000 people in the palm of her hand. And I learned how to focus a ballad studying her from the wings. I also studied Meryl Streep from the wings. Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Clint Eastwood, all of these people, when you get the chance to work with some of the greats in our business, you pay attention. You study. And I've been very fortunate to work with some wonderful people. Wonderful. I remember Sharon Stone. We had a scene, and usually an actor doesn't give their all when they're off screen and it's your time for the close-up. She laid those tears out. She gave me everything I needed, and I've always honored her for that. Yeah. So, it's been a great ride.
Talk about your one-woman shows.
Wow, my one-woman shows. Well, that's been quite the ride. The Divas Dismissed, Bipolar Bath and Beyond, Jenifer Lewis and the Cosmos, Jenifer Lewis Broke and Freaking Out. That's when I was a kid. I was broke and freaking out because I was broke. That's been the journey. I mean, those one-woman shows lay out my life. They're fun because they're all about me. But I try to not preach in my one-woman shows, but laugh at myself so everybody else cannot take themselves so seriously. I mean, I act a big fool in my one-woman show. And I sing and I tell these great stories about my childhood and my adventures and my travels. And what can I tell you? It's from Monte Carlo to Canada to Paris, and you always adjust the show to where you are, and people have received me very well all over the world.
How do you know when a script is a Jenifer Lewis role?
Fortunately, they actually write them for me now. They know my acting abilities. Like the Clint Eastwood movie was a drama. I was very excited to do that because, mostly I'm known for comedy. But I have a huge range, having studied the classics from Shakespeare to Brecht to Chekhov to Ibsen. It's been a ride. I can do it all. I performed with, Meryl Streep doing Bertolt Brecht's Mother Courage and her children. That was a challenge, but it was one of the greatest adventures of my career. And she was wonderful. Meryl Streep is everything you want her to be. She's warm, she's supportive, and brilliant. That's why she has 583 Oscars. But yeah, I can do it all. I sing, I'm funny, I'm cute. I love what I do, and I think when I walk in the room and audition, they see the love of what I do, and I do it well, so they say, that's the one I want. So it's been a good, but wasn't always like that. I had to grow into it. Like I said, the elevator to success is broken. Take the stairs. Learn your craft, Work hard.
In 2007, you went on Oprah, and you talked about having bipolar disorder.
Absolutely. That was one of the defining moments of my life. That morning I was really nervous, and I was like, okay, Jenny, This is not the diva meets the queen. This is Jenifer and Oprah sitting down and talking about something very serious, mental illness. I was diagnosed, I think, in the early 90s. Because, I was all over the place, and we're able to hide the manic part of bipolar disorder on stage. That's where I was. It's crazy, act crazy. Because when you're a kid, they're like, oh, Jenny's just crazy. But Jenny was manic, and then Jenny was depressed. So I think we only change our lives when we get tired. And I got tired of being manic. Being bipolar is exhausting. So what I did, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous mental illness. People, I wasn't way out there, but it certainly was noticeable. And people who loved me suggested that I get help. Mm-hmm. So I went to therapy, and my best friend had died from AIDS, and my father had passed away from a massive heart attack. And that sadness took me over the edge with the depression of the disease. And I knew I had to get help. So I've been in therapy for 17 years.
And I commend you on that.
And thank you. And the other part of healing is to medicate. You need the medication to bring yourself down in order to do the work. And the work being getting up and taking care of yourself. Even if you're not bipolar, you got to get up and take care of yourself. So you go the extra mile so that you can live a good life. I function very well now. I'm medicated. I'm actually done with therapy. I go back and get a little checkup every once in a while if something huge is happening in my life, which is every other week. But I'm level now. I've been able to have a wonderful career and fall in love, and I adopted a little girl from the Big Sister, Big Brother program, and she's doing very well now. Acting out. She's in her 20s. But people say, how is Charmaine? And I'm like, I don't say, oh, she's great.
Mm-hmm.
She did 2 years college. And I was very disappointed when she did that. But now I've learned it's her life. Let people live their lives. Mm-hmm. And they'll either come around to, what you... we think people should live like we want them to. Mm-hmm. The beautiful thing is when you let them do what they want to do. And then you take the stress off yourself.
That's
so
right.
I had to learn that. I used to say, oh, she'll hit a brick wall. But I had to hit a steel wall to say stop worrying about her. Mm-hmm. And let her live her life. Nobody stopped me from living mine.
Can you expound on your title, Black Mother Hollywood?
That started when I did What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yes, which was another defining moment in your career.
Absolutely. That we had no idea that movie was going to be as wonderful as it turned out. You do your part, and then it's all up to the editor.
Mm-hmm. And originally, you actually wanted to play the role of Tina Turner.
Now that is a story that is not true.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I wanted to play Tina, but
Okay.
what's going out is that I auditioned for it.
Yes.
I did not
Okay.
audition for it.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, I always want to clarify that. I did not audition. Angela got the part. I don't know how many people auditioned, but I did not audition for the role. And of course I wanted it. But thank God I got the mother, because I made a career out of it. And it was disappointing, but you go on. Mm-hmm. You go on. You can't have them all. Tupac Shakur's mother in Poetic Justice, Kadeem Hardison's mother in Panther. I don't know who else's mama. Everybody's mama, but like I said, for that kind of money, I'll play the daddy. Make no mistake.
So you don't feel like you've been typecast?
Well, yeah, I have, but I think it's coming out now that I'm starting to do more dramatic roles and not the mother. But I have enjoyed playing these mothers, representing the middle-aged African-American woman, because I feel that we are Mother Earth, and we do have a lot of color, sass, and truth, and strength, where we had to raise our children, and I've always admired the black mother. So getting the title, the Black Mother of Hollywood, I'm okay with that. And the response and reactions I get when I'm out in the streets from African American women, thank you. And I've just tried to represent.
What advice would you give to an aspiring actress?
To an inspiring anything, I would say love yourself first. Find a way. Find a passion. A lot of people are caretakers and they're doing jobs they don't like to do. But I was very fortunate to know what I wanted at a very early age, and I have pursued that and tried to honor it. But love yourself. Get to that. And it's not easy, but loving what you do is the first step to getting there. I guess. What do I know? But I had to learn to respect myself, by going to get help and wanting to live a wonderful life. So it's very important to not waste it. Stay healthy, eat right, try to eat healthy and exercise. All those things you hear, and speaking to the sisters, eat healthy so you can be around here a long time. It's okay to be natural, you're still beautiful.
That's right.
All those things of respecting and loving yourself. And just remember, nobody's better or worse than anybody else. We're all God's babies, and we're all fragile, and so take care of yourself. I think that's the most important thing.
What's next for Jenifer Lewis?
Well, on March 9th, I'm coming out in Think Like a Man. Kevin Hart, Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson, a lot of wonderful, Michael Ealy, a lot
With
of
his
wonderful.
fine self.
Oh, he is fine. My man is standing there, honey. My man is finer than anybody. Make no mistake. But yeah, it's going to be a fun movie, and I'm looking forward to that coming out. And I have a concert tonight here at Powell Symphony Hall. That's just a dream come true, with a 90-piece orchestra, an 84-voice choir. I sang at Carnegie Hall last year, but this is huge for me to be home.
Yes.
And being able to do this. I am honored to be here to perform.
And we are honored to have you here.
Thank you.
Back home again. I'd just like to say thank you so very much for granting me the opportunity to get more of your fabulous personality.
It was my pleasure. Absolutely.
I wish you well and much continued success in all your endeavors.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. And thank you.
Miss Jenifer Lewis.